Will he run? Former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz confirming that he is seriously considering an independent bid for president in 2020.
In a 60 Minutes interview, the lifelong Democrat said if he runs, it will be as a centrist independent. For years, speculation has swirled about this. But nearly everyone thought if he ran, it would be as a Democrat. Here he is over the years answering that question, starting all the way back in 2011. Are we going to possibly see you go to Washington and try to change some of the ways that Washington works?
No, I've been asked that many times. I think I can do much more from the platform I have as the head of Starbucks.
Will you ever run for president, Howard?
I'm a young man. There's a lot of time in the future of the country and what I might and might not do. I would never say never, but this is not the right time.
Is 2020 out of the question for you, Howard Schultz?
Are we going to go there again? What I would say is that I'm as concerned an American citizen as I ever have been. I want to be as involved as I possibly can as a citizen to help the country. I don't know what that's going to mean in the future.
Well, we know a little bit more this morning, and the president is weighing in on Twitter, going after Schultz, writing that he doesn't have the guts to run for president. I should note, Howard Schultz just joined Twitter yesterday, Jim.
A little bit new to it.
Yeah.
Also generating buzz today, California Senator Kamala Harris, who officially announced her candidacy on Sunday. You may have seen the speech. The California Democrat will join CNN for a town hall tonight. That will be hosted by our colleague Jake Tapper. Joining us now from the site of the town hall, CNN's Maeve Reston. In studio with us now, John Avalon. John, forgive me for accusing the president of being transparent with his tweets at times, but when he says Howard Schultz doesn't have the guts to run, is he daring him to run because he would like the prospect of a third-party candidacy to split the opposition to him?
I always think it's a mistake to overestimate the strategery behind Donald Trump's tweets, but clearly the reason that a lot of Democrats on the left are freaking out today about Howard Schultz trial ballooning this is that if he were to split the anti-Trump vote, that's a conceivable path up the middle for Donald Trump. That's what Paul LePage did, for example. Pretty polarizing guy, won a second term because an independent candidacy came in. That said, Howard Schultz has a constituency. Centrist independents have a constituency in this country. There are more independents self-identified than Democrats or Republicans. There are more moderates than liberals or conservatives. 63% of Americans say it's time for a third party, and there are 10 states where registered independents outnumber Democrats or Republicans.
But
it's not such a crazy idea.
Harry Enton said on our air a short time ago that a lot of those independents are actually Democrats, right? In the polling, is that? Do you think that's a mistake?
I love Harry, and certainly a lot of them tend to fall into camps. But there is also a beltway mentality that tries to minimize the fact that independents have been growing while the two-party have been flatlining and getting more polarized for decades.
So Maeve, to you, and you cover Schultz as well. Here's one of the answers that Howard Schultz gave last night to 60 Minutes that makes a lot of Democrats and a lot of Democrats running really upset. Listen to this on health care.
Every American deserves the right to have access to quality health care. But what the Democrats are proposing is something that is as false as the wall, and that is free health care for all, in which the country cannot afford.
I mean, this is part of why he's not running as a Democrat, because he sees a party that in many respects he believes has gone very far left. But the question also becomes, is America ready for another billionaire businessman president? Granted, he ran a publicly traded company with financials that were clear to the public, very different than the Trump organization.
Yeah, exactly. Well, clearly there is a constituency out there for Howard Schultz, and that's why you see so many Democrats very upset about this. The Washington State Democratic Party tweeting a Starbucks coffee cup, saying, "Don't do it, Howard." And obviously there was a huge blowback on Twitter yesterday. You also, talking to Democrats, I mean, I think a lot of voters are saying that they have an incredible field of choices at this point. There are so many people jumping to the race. I was with Kamala Harris yesterday at her launch in Oakland, and the crowds were going way back deep into the streets. So there's a lot of excitement about this, this vigorous debate of ideas that the Democrats are going to have. And so I think you will see them continuing to try to discourage him from running, not to mention the fact that I know he says he has ballot access nailed down, but that is going to be a huge endeavor for him to get on the ballot in all of these states and counties around the country. And a lot of Democrats just see that as burning money, basically, Poppy.
Well, I just say on the ballot issue, that is a major hurdle, but Americans elect got on the ballot in 50 states in 2012, which wasn't a great cycle, but he can take some comfort from that. And now the obvious analog here is Michael Bloomberg. You know, you have another billionaire thought about running for president, and he's running as a Democrat this time, or thinking about it, because he concluded the independent path was more likely to end up either as a spoiler or couldn't get through the House of Representatives. And obviously Schultz is coming to a different conclusion.
So why isn't he running for the Washington Democratic Party, his home state, said very clearly, the chairman of the party said this is about him, not about the party, and that's why he's choosing an independent path.
Sure.
And listen, you know, politicians make decisions for a whole host of reasons, and this could be his assessment as to what his best path is.
Sometimes self-interested. You saw the clips from Poppy all these years asking him, and his attitude's basically like, oh, no, keep it coming. Oh, no, don't, that's so embarrassing. I love the attention.
And not the first politician.
This is a YOLO thing for him. But what's really interesting is, I think centrist independents would make a greater impact writ large if they didn't focus on the presidency, but start running more folks for Senate, like Angus King, run more governorships, and start showing that this is a winning path for going forward.
His argument, and I wonder,
but I would also
I'll ask
say,
him. Yeah, go. Maybe I was just going to say, I wonder. I'll ask him tomorrow when I interview him. Would he have run, you know, if this were 2 years ago, would he have run as a Democrat? You know, he said that both Republicans and Democrats at this point, he thinks, are engaged in revenge politics. He just looked at what happened over the shutdown. So I wonder if his calculation has really dramatically changed to say, look, the only path for me that I see that I can live with is an independent path right now, Maeve.
Well, Poppy, when I was talking to sources close to him over the past year or so, he has been investigating this independent candidacy for a long time, whether it was possible to get on the ballot in all of those states, how much it would cost. So while it is true that he does think that the Democrats' ideas are too expensive, he clearly sees this as his lane, and it's something that he's been thinking about for a long time, even though everyone expected that he would jump into the Democratic side.
Sure. It's really interesting. We'll watch. John Avalon, thank you. Maeve, again, you're there because of the town hall.